Oh my god, it's finally happening. The adpocalypse has occurred. Oh god, she's on fire! There are a number of people in social media right now that say that the platform is undergoing what is called an adpocalypse. Now, an adpocalypse denotes that the entire platform's ad revenue is going down and that it's impacting everyone. We've seen this before. This is a callback to 2017 YouTube. 2017 YouTube had an adpocalypse because there was a lot of content on there that was not good. Advertisers pulled out and the whole platform lost about 90% of its ad revenue for every one of the creators. Except this isn't for everyone. It's anyone that has political, so politics, or sexual themes or adjacent tags. If somebody had a tag such as Iran, they may have experienced the same thing, and the reason why is because there's a war going on there right now, which means it ties back to politics. So there was a bunch of splash damage for people that had content that was not actually political in nature, but was adjacent to that or had a tag that could be misconstrued as being political in nature, which means Twitch, being Twitch, had splash damage. Normal shit. Not really surprised there. So with that in mind, I put this out. I said lots of people are pinging me about the adpocalypse on Twitch. I'm wondering if we're okay. None of our ad revenue on Twitch has changed because none of the content we talk about is sexual themes or politics. Our ferret rescue is run entirely off of ad revenue, and it's gaining income following the normal yearly trends for October, November. There are likely some channels that get misidentified as having political content due to tags or categories, but this so far seems to be rare. A tag lacks critical context for the kind of content being provided, and many people use tags in a joking way or to identify themselves in a particular way. I don't feel tags make a lot of sense for targeting ads as it leads to splash damage because of this. I don't think Twitch should have done it this way. An adpocalypse would be damaging the entire platform as a whole. None of that has been seen yet. So there seems to be a lot of jumping to conclusions here. If this was happening in a widespread or apocalyptic manner, we'd see impacts far outside of isolated instances like we have. Anyway, doom scroll less, look at cute animals more. And the internet lost its mind over one article, and they post this article. Now, this article's from Richard Lewis, but I want to show you something about ads or actually about media in general, right? We're going to go down and look through this. This is according to sources familiar with the business dealings of Twitch. A number of significant companies have paused their advertising spending with this streaming platform. Now, let's start it off there. According to sources. Okay. What sources? Here's a quote. Let's go pull this down here. After the clip from the panel went viral, Chevron was very angry, one Twitch employee explained. Having their logo in the background of a clip being used as an example of anti-Semitism prompted some very awkward conversations. The same source also confirmed the timing had not been great for Twitch. We have no names. We have no information. None of this is confirmable. And we can directly refute it. Do you know how we can directly refute it? If you have a channel that had reduced ad revenue, when you remove the tags, your ad revenue comes back. For every single one of the streamers, they removed the tags, and their ad revenue came back instantly, same day. At the start of this month, our ad revenue went up like it normally does every November, because in the last quarter of every year for October, November, December, it goes up and up and up, and then in January, it crashes. And you know what I think is going to happen? I think that when it crashes in January, like it normally does, because that's how ad spend works, people are going to go, oh my God, it's finally happening. The adpocalypse has occurred. Oh God, she's on fire. Because they're going to freak out because they don't actually know how ad revenue works, and they're going to think that the January drop, which happens every single year for every single platform across the entire internet, is some kind of adpocalypse. Yeah, one of the worst months for ad spend in the world is actually February. As funny as that is. Basically what ends up happening is it goes up and up and up for the December months because you're buying a whole bunch of shit, and then people are out of money. So then January and February is just bad. March, it starts going up a little bit, just a tad, usually about 4%. And then from there, it starts to kind of climb again as it goes into the last months of the year. It just slowly goes back up. This drop-off is because of Christmas, man. Most people buy a whole bunch of shit in Christmas and they're tapped out, so they just don't advertise in January and February. I'm pretty sure my Burrito Index has this data. What is the Burrito Index? The Burrito Index is how many 5-layer burritos I could buy with the ad revenue from Twitch every month, and we were tracking the expense, like the cost of a 5-layer burrito over a year. I have this. We actually tracked the burrito cost from November, I think it was 2022, to March 2023. Might have been 2024. Anyway, what you'll see here, which is really interesting, is the amount of burritos per viewer. Burritos per minute per viewer. And if you look at the burritos per minute per viewer, you'll notice something really interesting. See November, December, and then it dips really, really hard from November to December. And then if we go back up here, November, December, and then it dips really hard in January. This happens every year. Ad spend hits an all-time low around January, February. So the amount of burritos per minute that you are worth dips. Actually, I think it's burritos per month. This one's burritos per month. Yeah, this one's burritos per hour. This one's burritos per month. So you, as an individual viewer watching ads, are worth 0.321 burritos per month in ad spend. And then in March, this will go up. In April, this will go up. In May, this will go up. June, July, August. September dips in this one. October dipped in this one. And I was like, oh shit, something's going wrong. This is an anomaly. This is when you go, oh man, Twitch is actually getting ad revenue problems, right? But outside of that, you've got November, December, normal, and then January will dip again. And February will dip again. And this one here is an anomaly, which means Twitch got a whole bunch of new advertisers. We should go back to tracking this just to show what the ad spend on Twitch actually is. Because we were tracking all of this data for years. And what you'll see every single year is January, February is the worst couple of months on the platform. And it's like this across the entire internet. YouTube is the same. Twitter is the same. Twitch is the exact same. I've been tracking this data we even started tracking the weight of the burritos just to see if there was shrinkflation on the burritos, which is hilarious. Wait, but why? Because advertisers stop spending money in those months because you're tapped out from December. That's the reason. On December and November, you spend most of the money for the year. It's like October, November, December are the highest ad spend months. And the reason why is because you were spending the most amount of money on products during that month. And that's it. We even made graphs for this and like joke images to show that it was a burrito stinks or a burrito stonks. To say like when the burrito index was going up or down. To show the ad spend on Twitch. The whole point of this was to track ads on Twitch and show the average amount of ad income on a channel in a way that is like static based on burrito purchases. This is why this kind of stuff pisses me off, because there's a lot of people that don't actually understand how these platforms work. They haven't looked into the analytics. They don't know how ad revenue works. And because of this, they're freaking out on social media. And I'll show you why this bothers me the most. If we go down into this, we're going to look for add deeper analytics. Let me see if we can find this. I add a lot of stuff to user voice all the time. Yeah, here we go. Add deeper analytics for ad revenue. 2,372 votes. So right now the analytics page just shows revenue gained from ads. This doesn't paint the entire picture, and it's leading streamers to think that bias is occurring in their ad offers. Oh, sound familiar? This can be fixed by displaying ad impressions, declined impressions, fill rate, and ad pool size for our category, and CPM for the analytics page. Descriptions for each should be included to explain these mechanics. We're offered 55% of ad revenue, but have no way to determine what the number is or how it's calculated. This leads to distrust in Twitch and the ad system. Oh no, still familiar, isn't it? Giving streamers a clearer picture of the situation will let us decide how to optimize and earn more while repairing damage done by lack of communication. This benefits both Twitch and the streaming community overall. Having two monetized channels, I found that one of them was getting 205% more ad revenue from ads on a per viewer basis. I had no idea why this was happening, and none of my provided analytics helped resolve that. With this in mind, I reached out to Mike Minton, the chief monetization officer at Twitch, to discover what was going on. You could read the entire thread here because I did it publicly and showed all of the numbers. And Mike Minton actually responded to this. Oh, because I always do that publicly, because it's important to have that conversation publicly, which is hilarious. So during that conversation, we talked about all of this, and I realized how lacking the analytics panel really is for revenue source. I feel that fixing this will help improve communication regarding ads and dispel a lot of negative feelings around disparate ad rates between streamers. With Twitch moving towards a more ad-centric monetization model, which it is now, this really needs to be implemented. I put this in May 3rd, 2023. I have been into this for years. I have run our entire business model into this for years. The whole point of Twitch, for me, for most of this, was finding out how this shit worked. And now I have a bunch of talking heads in the internet that don't know how it works, that are freaking out and saying the sky is falling and they look like dumbasses. It really, really bothers me. You read the fine print when 98% of others don't. Yes, for this, absolutely. And do you want to know why I did that? Because I needed to make sure that we would have a sustainable business model to run a animal rescue, a ferret rescue, off of ad revenue. Because if you screw that up, animals' lives are in danger. So I needed to know absolutely everything about the ad system, absolutely everything about its dips, when it goes up and down on a yearly basis, every single month, how that operates, the fact that January and February make dramatically less ad revenue. You have to plan for that if you're going to run an animal rescue off of ad revenue. Like, you have to know that. We know how this works. We've always known how this works. The only difference now is Twitch has now stopped ad revenue specifically because of tags. How much money do you get from ads, truthfully? So ads are about, as of this month, 30.5% of the income of this stream and about 95 or above % of the Ferret Rescue stream. It is the grand majority of income on the Ferret Rescue stream. The Ferret Rescues run entirely, almost entirely on ads. Yeah, it's wild, actually. It's completely insane. So yeah, it's about 30% on this channel, and it's about 95% on that one. Does an ad blocker really work? Don't know. So we don't actually know how ad blockers work on Twitch. There's no way that I can really test that. I wish there was a way that I could test it. I wish there was a way to understand, because that comes down to what is called ad fill. Now, ad fill, the way that ad fill works is it goes, hey, was this ad actually delivered to a user, or was the ad rejected? If the ad was rejected, in some way or not delivered, you don't want to charge the advertiser if the ad wasn't actually delivered to the person, right? So in cases of, ad blocking, generally you're not going to make any money off of that, but we don't have a way of testing that. So we just know that that's the intention, but we don't know how it's tested. Yeah, there's no way to do that. Is Twitch losing advertisers? There's claims of that, but there's no verified claims. The problem is the only story that we can pull off for that says that they have an inside source. The inside source is not verifiable, and that it's going on. Trust me, bro, it's real. And the problem with this is if you go and look at it, none of our ad rates are actually dropping. So if advertisers were pulling out, we would have seen that at the beginning of this month because advertisers pay on a monthly basis. And this happened in the middle of October, so it would have shown off in November, but November is showing more ad revenue just like November always does because it goes like this for October, November, December, and then January. And February, and then March, and then it goes back up again. So because of this, nothing's changed, which means we can't verify the claim, and the claim is saying that it has an inside source that's not verifiable anyway, which means it's probably bullshit. How do you do the ad scene? I use a tool called StreamerBot. StreamerBot is really useful, and it's free. What do you do with the Ferret Rescue? In case of an adpocalypse, if there was an adpocalypse for the Ferret Rescue, we'd have to evolve the business in a different way. We'd have to do something else. And I don't know what I would do yet. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Probably maybe going into something like a sub drive or a subathon, things like that, where we go and try and do that. Maybe do a separate YouTube channel specifically for them and try to put out shorts and other content that would try to drive more traffic to that. Maybe a sponsor, merchandise, things like that. Whatever it would be, to go in that direction to try and stabilize that. In this case, though, there's no reason to do all of that. There's only a reason to be like, advertisements are fine. There's always backups to go in those directions. Ferret plushies, Ferret plush, only Ferret's account. I know, right? How does turbo revenue factor into these claims? Yeah, so turbo revenue is actually really cool. So on Twitch, if you have Twitch Turbo, or on YouTube, if you have YouTube Premium, if you would get an ad, you actually don't get the ad, but the streamer still gets money as if you watch the ad. Interestingly enough, Twitch Turbo is calculated instantly. So if you go to your stream, go to Twitch real quick. I'm going to go pull up some analytics for you guys so you can see this yourselves. When you stream, you will see this little yellow bar, kind of like this. This yellow bar is Twitch Turbo. Twitch Turbo will display immediately when your stream ends, which means Twitch is calculating Twitch Turbo revenue instantly. 3 days later, you will get your ad revenue bar. And the ad revenue bar will display usually as kind of like a pinkish fuchsia color. And the ad revenue bar is usually about 10 to 15 times that of Twitch Turbo. Twitch Turbo is in kind of the minority. However, over time, we've seen that increase as more people find out about Turbo, and Twitch actually advertises it a little bit better, which they should be advertising it better, but they don't very well. And as you talk about it, you get it all there. Isn't it all instantly? No. The reason why is because they have to calculate the ad fill for the other ads. I don't know why Turbo is instant. I don't know what's going on in the back end for that to be a thing, but ad revenue calculates 3 days later. Your last 2 streams will always display as no ad revenue until 3 days later. That's it. Every single time. And then it calculates and everything is cool. And that's just kind of how that goes. Turbochargers enough now. It better be instant. I mean, it's not really it better be instant. It's just kind of how it works. That's the system for it. The only thing you care about as a streamer is, did I get paid that month? Cool, right? Like, that's it, man. Like, you don't have to worry about, is it calculated up to the minute? None of that shit matters. It's a monthly income thing. Can you disclose the burn down rate per month for the rescue? Burn down rate? You mean like the cost for everything? So we have 2 employees. Shay is a full-time employee. Maddie is a part-time employee. The ferrets on top of this are about $4,000 a month, $4,500 a month in cost for food, somewhere in there, because they have to eat meat, bone, or egg. So it's a full meat diet. They're obligate carnivore. Medical expenses depends on the month, and this is where things kind of fluctuate wildly. So you could have a month where everything is only like maybe about $500 because a couple of implants or maybe one implant or something like that, or it could be up to like $15,000. Because you have things like someone needs surgery, or there's like an anomaly that we don't know what's going on, and we have to do investigatory stuff like x-rays or MRI, things like that. So that fluctuates a lot. And that's why we save as much money as possible. And like, okay, this could be a bad month, this could be a good month. Yeah, emergency care. It could be anything. So that's why we don't know. Yeah, Beans. Beans actually produced a large mass, like a bezoar, in his gut, where he had hair and fat, and it turned into this huge mass, and he stopped eating, and then we had to go get that removed from him. It was about $5,000 to get that done. So that's the thing. No health insurance for ferrets. They're exotic animals. If you get exotics insurance is dramatically more expensive than the cost of this. So it's one of those things where it's like, just do the spot like cost for this instead of getting exotics insurance for 56 animals, right? Like, that's not a thing, especially when we up the rescue to like the capacity of 250 once we have the building built. That's not tenable. It's not financially responsible to do that. Are payments monthly or per stream? It's monthly. Streamers are paid every month. Yeah, you're paid on a monthly basis, usually around like the 21st is usually when you get paid from Twitch, somewhere in there. Do you benefit from more from turbo viewers or subs? That depends. So Twitch keeps changing the costs of things. I know they changed the cost of subs now. I think it's, what, it's $6 a sub now, right? Is it $6 a sub? Did they already change that? Is that a thing now? Yeah, it's $6. It used to be $5 a sub. There was a time where turbo was actually more valuable. Like a person watching ads was more valuable than a person who subbed. And then they started changing everything because it was like, that's a little bit weird because they had left the sub price at $5 for so long. And like that's a product of inflation, and that's a product of ad spend changes where it's like, wait a minute, if they don't sub, they generate more revenue? That's really weird, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. So like, yeah, there was a time where that happened, and they just keep changing the prices on things to try and make sure that's not a thing. Because if you sub to a person, I guess the basic thing is a viewer should never at any time have a question in mind of, am I hurting you or helping you by subbing to you? That should never be a question. That shouldn't be but for a little while, there was a question of that. Right now, subs make the most sense, especially if you don't want ads. So yeah, I'm Turbo and Prime sub. Is that 2 times the ad revenue? No. So there is one question with Twitch where Twitch has never been able to answer this. I've asked many different people. I asked Mike Minton. I asked Dan Clancy. I've asked a ton of people, even engineers. No one's ever had an answer for this. If you have Turbo, you don't get ads, but you get money as if you had the ads. If you have a sub, you don't get ads, and you don't get money. What happens if you have both? Nobody knows. So if you're sub to the person and you have Turbo, you don't get ads, but does the streamer get money? No one knows. No one knows. Like, we have absolutely no idea at all. No one has the answer to this, which is funny. Oh yeah, no, if you're from Russia, you don't get ads. Yeah, you won't get ads in Russia because no advertisers are advertising to Russia, and you're not generating ad revenue. 100%. Yeah, it's a matrix-breaking question. I think the reason why is it's probably deep in the engineering, and just no one knows anymore. There used to be, on the Twitch affiliate onboarding wiki page, it would say you did get ad revenue from this. And then on the Turbo page, it says you did not. So there was even wiki pages that one was saying one was saying the other, and you're like, God damn it, dude. Like, what is the answer? No one knows. So yeah, we don't know. We have absolutely no idea. That's one of the age-old questions that I've been trying to get an answer for the entire time I've been on Twitch. Can you choose what kind of ads are running? Or is it like only YouTube choice? So YouTube, you get an option. You get a radio dial that says, do you want certain types of ads that it's just kind of limiting them. And on Twitch, you don't really have any control over that. It's based on targeting for the user. So what kind of category are you in? What kind of streamer like content are you providing? What kind of tags do you have in place now? That's a new one. Tags is a new one. And also, what are your viewers doing? Like, what do they watch? So what do you guys watch individually? What region of the world are you from? What time of day is it? All of that is based on targeted ads. So targeted ads are based on all of these different factors, and they deliver you an ad that they think is most likely to get you to buy a product. This is like that on every platform on the internet. This is not different for Twitch. This is exactly the same everywhere. It's like that on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I get some weird ads. A lot of people get weird ads. Might mean that you're weird. Just saying. The advertisers know, dude. They know. Is it true that muting a stream keeps the stream from getting ad revenue from your view? What about minimizing the window? Does a muted stream count as a view? Yes. Whether you mute the video player on Twitch or the browser tab, you still count as a viewer so long as that live video is playing. So that counts you as a viewer, but it doesn't answer our question, right? And the reason why is our question isn't whether or not you're counted as a viewer, it's whether or not ads delivered to you actually count as ad fill. So answers part of the question, but not the full one. A little bit too generic, right? So you have to be careful about that and be like, oh, wow, it counts you as a viewer, so that means No, we don't want to jump to a conclusion. We know that you count as a viewer. We don't know about the ad fill. So we'd have to get kind of a verification from that from Twitch. I get the ads even though it's in the background. You may be delivered the ads, but does it count as a full ad delivery? That's the thing I don't know. Would this be a stipulation demanded by advertisers versus Twitch? Yes. Yes, it would be. This would not be... You have to understand, no platform is going to be imposing things for this. They're not going to be like, oh, yeah, we have to do that. That's good for the advertisers. The advertisers demand that shit, and the platform bends to it. That's how that works. Advertisers own these platforms when it comes down to it. Whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, it doesn't matter. Advertisers say jump, and the platform says how high, because the platforms don't get to exist without ad money. Straight up. That's how that always goes. And if you, to be honest with you, I miss the days when the internet didn't work that way, but it does. The internet has always worked that way. In like the last decade, the internet has transformed into a machine that runs on ads. And without it, you just can't exist. No platform does. The only other way you can make it work is if you don't run ads, but you rely on people's donations for everything. And if you do it that way, that's dangerous, man. That's really dangerous. How confident are you building the Ferret rescue based on ad revenue? Very. Incredibly so. Because I've done all the analytics on this. We've done it for years. We know exactly how this functions. If Twitch ever actually had an adpocalypse, we'd be able to notice it within 24 hours. That's the difference, man. Like if Twitch ever had an anomalous downturn in ad revenue, I would know immediately because I check that data every day, every single day. Well, you know in 72. True, you're right. Because, within 72 hours, we would know. Because the last 2 streams don't show up on ad revenue. Would Bluesky survive with just subscriptions? I don't know. That's a very difficult question, to be honest with you, because I don't know what the burn rate is. I think it is highly likely that they will need to run advertisements eventually. I think that they are going to be resistant to that. But you live in a world where advertisements are the way that it works. But if you want to keep a platform completely unbiased, completely unable to be affected by another company outside of yourself, you can't run ads then, right? But ad revenue is the best way to make money, straight up. Is turbo profit calculated by viewer watch time? Don't know. We know that it is calculated at the end of the stream. So turbo viewership, like ad revenue is calculated immediately, but normal ad revenue is not calculated for 72 hours. So you have to wait. Does a big banner on the bottom generate ad revenue? Yes, it does. So if you have a little banner that pops up on a stream, those little ones that make the stream a little bit smaller, that generates ad revenue too. And those are a new one. I think that's actually kind of an interesting thing from Twitch. Those didn't used to exist, and now they pop up and they like kind of make the stream smaller, and then they go away. That counts as ad revenue for Twitch and for the streamer, right? Yeah. I was curious about the ad loss for Twitch. There's no ad loss so far. There's an unverified claim from a person that is an inside source that is claiming that something's going on that refuses to verify any of the information that they're providing. And we can refute that claim by seeing that ad revenue has not dipped on any person's stream outside of people that have been tagging their content with things that can be seen as political or sexual in nature. There's no change for anybody else. Does it appear on full screen? It does. Yeah, there's a little banner thing that comes up sometimes. It's pretty rare. Do you know if certain games will affect your ads? Yes, they do. So certain games will absolutely affect the ads, and I'll show you how we know this. So when I'm in here in just chatting, or if I'm in here in software and game development versus the animals category, right? The animals category, on average, gets 205% more ad revenue. Why would that be? And the reason we know this is because I run 2 streams. I have a stream here, and I have a stream over on the animals category, which is the ferret rescue. It's because this one's more ad-friendly. That's it. And it's always been that way. We know that. That's why I put that thing up on User Voice, specifically asking Mike Minton about this. And he said, yeah, the animals category is just loved more by advertisers. If you produce content that is ad-friendly, you will get more ads. It's just very funny. But yeah, that's it. You know, so that channel on a per viewer, per ad minute basis makes 205% more ad revenue than my primary channel. And it has always been that way because the category is more ad-friendly. So depending on what game you're playing, depending on what category you're in, all of that can be targeted in different ways by advertisers. What does ad-friendly content even mean? I'll give you an example. You don't want to have politics on your stream. You don't want to have political information. You don't want to have sexual themes. The reason why is because Coca-Cola or Chevron or any other company is not going to want to have their ad for their product pop up next to a dude that's like, I want you to vote for this guy. Because what you've done now is you've tied their brand to one side of a political argument, which has cut their entire, cut the brand recognition of them in half, where the other side will be like, I can't believe Chevron's running ads on that. I'm associating the image of Chevron with a political ideology now. You don't want that shit as an advertiser, so they don't want to run ads on that, which makes sense, right? You don't want to be associated with only 50% of a country if you are a brand selling a product. Which channel makes overall, main or ferrets? The main channel makes more money overall because I stream 12 hours a day on here. And you guys are wild, like completely wild. The hype trains, things like sponsorships, stuff like that. Everybody throwing bits and subs. The ferret stream is like 95% or more from ad revenue. Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for that. That's why we're able to run all of this. That's why I'm able to pay the employees and do benefits for everybody, is because you guys do that. You make you a millionaire, I'll just keep paying the employees more. You can't stop me. Caseoh lost a month of ad revenue for just having an Iran tag. Correct. So that one is what we're going to call an anomaly. And I'll explain why this happened, right? So Caseoh lost a whole bunch of ad revenue because he had Iran in the tag. Now, Twitch changed it so that politics tags, any tags actually, can now be used to determine if ad fill is going to happen or not. Tags in general. Iran is currently at war. Because of this, because of the war between Israel and Iran right now, it got swept up in politics tags. It is not because he is Iranian. It is not Twitch making a political stance. It's because advertisers said, we don't want ads next to politics. And they went, let's use tags to do this. And they did it haphazardly. Twitch did not do this correctly. They should not have done it off of tags. They should have done it off of context inside of the stream of the actual content being provided. That's not fair. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But was it targeted specifically as Iranian? No. It's the thing in the middle. It's not the extremes on the side. I think they should reimburse him, and they likely will. to be honest with you. Now that this has been a thing where it's like, hey, I wasn't even providing this. And I think it's important. The LGBTQ tag is getting targeted too, though. Do you have any source for that information, or is it just people claiming that online? Because I haven't seen anything for that whatsoever. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone claiming that so far. The only ones that I've seen is specifically the Iran thing and a couple of things for sexual-themed streams. And this makes sense to me. I can understand how this could happen. Is it correct? No. Does Twitch need to fix that? Yes. I really don't think Twitch should be doing ad revenue based on tags. This should not be a thing. There should never be a tags-based thing because you're not pulling into account the context of the stream. And that's not good for the advertisers. That's not good for the platform. That's not good for the streamer. And it's esoteric to the streamer, meaning the streamer doesn't understand what's going on that's driving their ad revenue down. They feel like they're targeted when in reality, it's based on a tag. That's not helpful. Yeah, it's a lazy blanket. Exactly. But I understand why that's happening. I can see why that's going on. I think you're right. I know I'm right in this. And the reason why I know I'm right is because it happened to a bunch of other streamers. So if you put elections as a tag on your stream, your ad revenue drops to 0. And the moment you remove elections as a tag in the stream, your ad revenue goes back up to where it should be. We can test it on you can literally test this. Any streamer can, and we have. So we know that this is happening in this way. We know that it's based on the tags. It's not hypothetical. Correct. It is tested. And that's the most important thing. You don't have to go into this thinking like, oh man, it's untestable. Oh God, it's a true A/B test. We can try this. We already have, and we can see that it works that way. Can you see your ad revenue in real time? No. You have a 72-hour turnaround, and people have already tested it. They've already seen that it goes right back up. Twitch will never confirm it. It doesn't matter if Twitch confirms it or not. We can confirm it. You can test things and see the results immediately. We've made some updates to our policy language to better clarify what needs a politics and sensitive social issues content classification label. We want to make clear that you don't need to label your stream if you're talking about your lived experience. We've made this clearer in our CCL guidelines. Yeah, no, they actually did this. So a lot of people were really afraid that people who were LGBTQ would be demonetized in some way because they'd be counted as being under politics and sensitive social issues. They updated the language to say specifically it is only politics and sensitive social issues if you are talking about legislation getting passed in that arena, not just talking about the fact that you are trans. That's it. That really sucks? No, it's not. If you're talking about passing legislation, that's politics, dude. Like, there's no way around that. It doesn't matter what the context of that is. You're talking about passing legislation. That is politics. That's political information. Doesn't matter what context. If you want to talk about, like, hey, you're trans, you're bi, you're, lesbian or gay, all of that is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's not going to put you in that classification label. It's if you're talking about passing legislation in that arena when you start going into politics, and now you need the content classification label. Do you think the tags are temporary while they work on something better? I think the tags are probably a knee-jerk reaction. I think that there were some concerns that they would lose advertisers and like, hey, we're going to do this for content classification shit. We're going to do it with tags. And I think it's kind of splash damagey. I think it was the wrong choice to do it. I don't think they should have done it through tags. I think they're trying different things and they're trying to find out what works the best. They did the content classification thing for politics and then they moved over to tags. The problem is tags aren't going to work. Tags are going to cause a problem with this like it already is. And the other issue with this, the most important thing with this is tags are abusable. There's a number of people now that are now using these tags because they go, oh, wait, I could just use a politics tag and I don't get ads on my stream anymore? Whoops. That's not a good spot to be in for Twitch. That is not a good spot to be in for Twitch. I think that is a mistake of the system's design. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Political advocacy is viable as a career on Twitch. You will not receive ad revenue, but you can do that. And that's fine, right? If you want to do that kind of content, you just won't receive ad revenue. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's not Twitch. That's everywhere. If you do that on YouTube, you get the same. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize it's the same shit on YouTube. In fact, let me go pull this up for YouTube so you guys can see this. Every time you upload a video, you actually have the same information being put up. So I'm going to go and upload a video real quick. I'm going to select a video from my computer. We're just going to upload this one real fast. And we're going to go to monetization on this. We're going to go to, I'm going to say yes on monetization. I'm going to go to ad suitability. So YouTube actually has this thing called ad suitability, and they want you to go and fill this out. And I just uploaded a random video from a computer. And it says, do you have inappropriate language? Do you have adult content? Do you have violence, shocking content, harmful acts and unreliable claims, recreational drugs content, enabling dishonest behavior, hateful or derogatory content, firearms-related or sensitive events, dealing with war, death, or tragedy, or controversial issues, such as sensitive and controversial topics that could be traumatic to viewers. All of the same stuff that Twitch has. Like, there's nothing really surprising here because it's not the platform doing it. It's advertisers wanting to stay away from those types of topics. It's the same. And the thing that you put in here is you say, I have none of the above. And if you lie about it and YouTube finds out about it, they go back and demonetize your video. If you don't fill it out truthfully, you get demonetized. You get a yellow mark on your video. And it says, this is not okay. That's why you can't say curse words in the first 15 seconds of a video on YouTube. If you go in there like shit within like first 3 seconds, your video will get demonetized. And the reason why is because an advertiser has a buffer window where they say, I don't want harsh language within 15 seconds. This is always normal. Yeah, it's a normal thing on YouTube. We know that. And I've had videos demonetized because of that. Because it starts off with me going, oh shit, and then I get demonetized. Yep. YouTubers joke about it constantly. Yeah, you can swear at the 16-second mark. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Literally at 16 seconds, it's fine. Before 50 seconds before, no, you can't do it. You can't. Literally, it is a cutoff of exactly 15 seconds. You're joking about it, but that's real, dude. It's we've done it. We've already done it. Yeah. You think a system like that would be good for Twitch? This is already the thing that's happening. The problem is Twitch is trying to do this on live content. YouTube's doing this on static content. That's the problem, right? Twitch is trying to figure it out and go in that direction, and that's a different animal than static content. And they're not doing a very good job of it because I don't think tags is the right solution. I think the biggest problem is tags are abusable by the general public. They can now put on a tag that will remove all ads from their channel. I think tags are not a good thing because they're kind of esoteric for the streamer because they made this change at the beginning of this month. And the beginning of November, suddenly a bunch of people lost a bunch of ad revenue and they're like, what the hell is going on? Oh God, it's an adpocalypse. But it was because of the tags they had on their stream. And they had to figure that out. There's no way you would know that, right? There's no way you would know inherently like, oh wow, it's the tags that did this to me. Right? There's no way you would understand that because there's no communication. Any alternative to tags? Just remove tags. You just don't have tags on your channel. Oh, you're talking about alternative for Twitch. Twitch would have to do content classification, which is manually intensive. They don't really have a system for that. Can you add animals tag just to get more money too? No. No, it looks like they're only using tags specifically for removing monetization off of channels, not adding monetization to channels. Can you make a short of you counting to 15 and then saying shit? I mean, I guess we could. It'd be kind of funny. Are some games demonetized? It depends. If a game is like super sexualized, then it would get sexual content. If a game is very like aggressively violent, maybe. And you have to understand that's not down to Twitch. That's down to advertisers being comfortable running ads on that. I think a lot of people will put the blame on the platform in those cases, but no, advertisers choose what they want their ads running next to, not the platform. What about Diablo 4 build videos? I've never had a problem with that. MK1 has a hard time on YouTube. Not surprised. Games to sneak a single swear in about 2 hours into the game. That's fine. Yeah. When people say unalive on TikTok, is that because of the advertisers? Yes. Yes, it is. So when people go on TikTok, instead of saying, oh, he killed him, he unalived him. The reason why is because they go, oh shit, the algorithm won't pick me up if I say killed. The algorithm won't pick me up if you say the word s***ed. You have to say unalived, which is very 1984 to me. It's very double plus ungood, right? Which is, I hate it. I hate the shit out of it, actually. Because people now say that stuff in real life. And I'm like, dude, you're not on TikTok right now. Stop saying unalived. Like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, it's neo-language shit, and I hate it. And it's being pushed directly because of advertisement and algorithmic reasons of you're not getting as much viewership, you're not getting as many views, you're not getting as much ad revenue if you use that type of language, which I think is insane because it's training an entire generation on how to speak, which is very 1984 for that. Like, legitimately, it is completely comparable between those two. Is instead of saying, oh, it's bad, you say it's double plus ungood. It's the same as like, oh, he died. No, he unalived himself, right? It's like, God damn it. It's self-censorship? It is. It's self-censorship for the idea of getting more views. Newspeak is actually real, and it's being driven by TikTok because of algorithmic reasons to try and get more views on your videos. It is, yes, it is quite literally 1984, which makes me laugh every time. Yeah, soft language. I love Carlin's videos on soft language. I've always loved that. He's like, oh, he didn't die. He passed away. That shit always made me laugh, but it's, yeah, you see that all the time. What's 1984? 1984 is a book that talks about a theoretical timeline in which a government is very oppressive, and part of it actually changes the language of people. They're not allowed to say something is bad. They're allowed to say something is ungood. And it's called Newspeak. It is called Newspeak. And when you have something like TikTok where people can't say he died, he unalived, it's a direct correlation between the two. It's quite funny to watch that. Yeah. Orwellian. Yes. Yeah, go read 1984. It's quite good. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a guidebook. It wasn't. But, you know, there you go. This alienates people trying to help and silence people looking for help. What alienates people trying to help? Can Twitch clips make ad revenue? That's a good question. Yes, they can. So Twitch clips and VODs actually make ad revenue, and we know that because even on days where I am not streaming, there's a little bit of ad revenue gets generated for the channel. So yeah, you can see that. It's actually pretty shit when you're not live, but it does generate some ad revenue. Is ad revenue based on number of viewers? Kind of. So that's an interesting one. Is ad rev based on number of viewers? Yes and no. The more viewers you have, the more money you're generally going to make off of ads. if those viewers are in regions where enough ads are being displayed. If you are in Russia, no, your viewers are not generating any ad revenue. Any viewer from Russia is not getting any ad revenue at all because people in Russia are not being advertised to because no one can sell products to people in Russia. So, because of that, there's no ad revenue there, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You being part of a channel when you're watching from Russia, you're not hurting that channel in any way. It's not negative for the streamer. Nobody loses, right? It's totally fine. You didn't do anything wrong. That's fine. If you're in the United States, you're highly advertised to, and you're generating a lot of ad revenue. So depending on where your viewership is, more viewers could equal more ad revenue. But it's not always going to be that way. Yeah, not always going to be that way. It is based on the viewership. It's based on a number of other factors, like where do they live? Do certain ads provide more ad revenue? Yes. If there's like a really hot video game and you go and, play in that really hot video game and everyone knows the video game, a lot of the times advertisers are like, oh shit, we want to put our ads on that really hot video game, and you may get a premium where like more ad revenue happens when you're playing that new hot video game. We see that all the time. If you have something in the animals category, like we do with the Ferret rescue, that is very ad friendly. So you get more ad revenue in there than you would in any other category. I wonder where South Africa stands on that. I wish I could in some way have a list that would show that, but we know certain regions just get less ads. And that's just based on ad targeting. That's not even Twitch doing that. That's based on advertisers. Because to be real with you, if you want to advertise in, say, France, you would probably want your ad to be in French. So, like, if you're only making English ads, why would you want those playing in France? They're going to be less effective. And you're paying for ad viewership, right? So I think that's the most important with that. If you're paying for ad viewership, if you're paying every time someone sees that ad, you want it to be effective. You don't want to have your ad in English going to Germany. You don't want your ad in English to go to France. You want it to be in French and German to get the most impact for that. Yeah, I get German ads in Ireland. That's the interesting part too. Are you watching a lot of German streamers? Are you also viewing streams at a time where Germany's very active? Or is your ISP actually routing you through an area that makes it look like you're a German viewer? There's a lot of different choices there. And they do ad targeting incorrectly sometimes. We hear a lot of people in Finland get French ads too. It's kind of a weird thing. I get French ads from Kuwait. Yeah, we see that happen sometimes. Do VPNs affect ads? Yes, because you were counting as a viewer from somewhere else. However, you have to understand that's not going to be instant because there is a history to your viewership. As you are watching, if you just pop on a VPN, you may not get different ads instantly. You may, on your account, have a history of contact, like a history of access that shows you're US and then you're, say, in Germany, right? And when you go back, now your account has history from accessing both in the United States and Germany. You may get German ads forever now, randomly, which is quite interesting. I don't know how often Twitch clears that ad history because they do have to clear it and they have to keep it up to date to make sure that targeted ads are the most appropriate based on the viewer that you are. But every platform does this. Can you nullify history by clearing cookies? I think that's going to be a GDPR request, generally. Yeah, every platform does this. Pretty normal stuff. You can also report ads when they're incorrect or they're too loud or they're not kind of fitting the normal volume constraints. If they're ridiculously loud, you can report the ad. I think something that's really interesting to me is I make a lot of ad revenue on the platform, on both the Ferret stream and on this. And the reason why I think a lot of the times is because you guys generally feel more respected when we run ads here. Like, just as a way of putting this out, I pause for ads. And because I pause for ads, a lot of people don't leave when the ads start because they know I'm waiting. And on the Ferret stream, a lot of people actually cheer when ads go off because they know that it's supporting the Ferret rescue. So you have more people that are more interested in watching the ads because they know that they're not treated badly as a viewer, that they're not being ignored or abused in some way or being left behind when the ads play. So because of that, we get more people that are willing to watch ads. If I join a random stream and I get an ad instantly, I leave. Yes, so what you're getting there is called a pre-roll. So a pre-roll ad, I find largely to be the death of a channel. I don't like pre-roll ads. So what I do is I run ads, and the way that I run them is I do every 30 minutes, we do 2 minutes of ads. So every 30 minutes, we do 2 minutes. On the Ferret stream, it's every 20 minutes we do 2 minutes. We do 6 minutes an hour on the Ferret stream, and on this channel, we do 4 minutes an hour. The reason why we do this is because it makes pre-rolls go away, which means a new viewer that comes in doesn't receive ads the moment they hit this. Because what would you do if you never saw a streamer before? You had never seen them, and you enter their channel for the first time and you get 8 ads. You leave, you bounce, you change the channel, right? I hate pre-rolls. And when I removed pre-rolls from our stream, we got 5 to 6 times the amount of followers per stream. And it immediately changed back when I put pre-rolls back on. We just get new followers because new people find the stream, they're more willing to stay, they engage with the content. Your content still has to, people still have to like it, but there's no longer a barrier in place. How to remove it? Run ads. The moment you start running ads, you stop getting pre-rolls. It actually turns them off. And you even get a timer. It says running 2 minutes of ads manually remove the upcoming auto ad, so we can do that. And we'll also say you don't have pre-rolls for X number of minutes because doing that. Yeah. How many ads is an hour again to clear pre-rolls? It has to be 3 minutes an hour. The problem is when you do exactly 3 minutes per hour, there is a button that you get called snooze. If I'm in the middle of a really particularly interesting topic, I will click the snooze. You get 1 snooze every hour, and it's a 5-minute delay on the next ad break. This may put you below 3 minutes an hour. So I do 4 minutes an hour so that I have buffer. That's why we do a 2-minute ad break every 30 minutes so that I can use the snoozes tactically if we're in the middle of a conversation. I've actually used 2 snoozes this stream so far. I have 1 left right now, and it will refresh another snooze for me in 31 minutes and 3 seconds. They actually have a timer on it for you. Yeah, that way I always stay above 3 minutes. Always. As a streamer, can they choose to run 0 ads? Generally not, but if you're running political content right now, you will not have ads on your stream. Do advertisers actually watch Twitch to see stream context where their ads display? I feel like likely some advertisers do. There'd be no reason not to. I'll give you an example. A person who is doing a sponsorship of a stream is technically an advertiser. Every time I've done a sponsorship, the sponsors are in the chat. They're watching everything. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times they're really excited. They love seeing you guys enjoying the thing that we're talking about. And I'm sure that advertisers do that as well, but they probably do spot checks. Yeah, the good agencies, for sure, I hope. Exactly. How many of you guys have seen the ads in progress screen and you're like, well, I didn't get an ad. Where's my ad? Right? The reason why is when an ad break actually happens on Twitch, not everyone gets an ad. And let's say we have a 2-minute ad break. You don't get a full 2 minutes of ads. You actually get anywhere between 10 seconds and 2 minutes. It is random for every person that's in there based on the amount of ads that can be served to them. And it changes based on the region that you're in, everything like this. So you'll get ads. Yeah, I got 10 seconds. Bingo. I got a 12-second ad. Bingo. And some people will get the full 2 minutes. And that's why when somebody comes in and they go, oh, what is this? 1 of 27 ads. I go, you're full of shit. And I know you're full of shit because we know exactly how long the ad break happens. We know that it can only go up to 2 minutes. There are people that are like, I just got 6 minutes of ads. I was like, you're a liar. We know you're a liar because we can see exactly how long this lasts. Like I know immediately when someone's full of shit. And people lie about it all the time. They straight up lie. They just go on the internet and tell lies. It's wild, dude. Yeah, caught instantly. Pay the streamers to get turbo, F ads. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's a problem with ads when it comes down to it. And here's the reason why. There are many people in different parts of the world where buying a sub financially doesn't make sense for them or doesn't make sense based on price disparity between their local currency and the cost of the sub. If you are watching a stream, you are monetizing that stream by watching ads. You are helping that streamer financially by watching those ads. It is a beneficial thing for them, and you get to watch the content without monetizing. That's great. I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you don't want a sub, good. Fine with me. They've definitely had more than 2 minutes of ads. You'll usually get up to, in this stream, you'll get up to about 2 minutes and 5 to 2 minutes and 10 seconds at the maximum because some ads run a little bit long and they're a little bit bad about that top end, but you won't get more than that. Yeah, it cannot give you more than that. And some streams, you can actually run, okay, this is going to be horrifying. You ready for this? This is going to blow you away. Let me go into my ads manager. There is an upper limit for how many ads we can display. Let me grab this real quick. So if I go into my ads manager and I look at this, the amount of ads that I can run, this is horrifying. You can run up to a 3-minute ad break every 8 minutes. You can do 22 minutes and 30 seconds of ads per hour. It is insane. That is the top end. That is the most amount of ads you can run. Yeah, Kai does that. Kai does that, actually. And it makes sense, right? He's got a massive audience. Why wouldn't you? That's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. Yeah, that's a shitload of ads. I don't do that. It's too many for me. I do 2 minutes every 30 minutes. 1/3 of the stream is ads? Yes. Do advertisers boost their volume gain to make the ads obnoxiously loud? If you see that, it is a violation. I think there's like a federal law against certain amounts of volume increase. You can actually report the ad. If you click on it, it's a right click and then you can report the ad. The FCC. The Federal Communications Commission. In the United States, we have the FCC for this, for loud commercials. Does the FCC currently regulate loud commercials? Yes, the commission adopted rules on December 13th, 2011 that require commercials to have the same average volume as the programs they accompany. So if you want to know more about what is a violation in terms of, is the commercial too loud, read this. Learn about commercials. Learn about your rights as a consumer. Learn about what it is that is not okay and is okay based on the FCC rules. And report ads that are blasting your ears out, dude. How are you supporting a stream just by being in it? Even if there's no ads for you, even if you're not subbed, even if you don't throw bits. Viewer count, 100%. So the way that Twitch works, it has this system called the Kingmaker system. And what the Kingmaker system is any category has a top 4 slots on average, right? The top 4 slots at the very top. These people receive the grand majority of clicks when someone enters a category. They're the ones who get clicked the most. And if you are helping to push that channel to the top, you are actually allowing that person to be more visible on the platform, and you are supporting that streamer by being there. Even if you're not monetized, even if you don't get ads, all of that, you are helping that streamer succeed. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. And I find that a lot of usually newer streamers are misguided in this because they'll be like, I need all my viewers to sub. I need all my viewers to not be lurkers. I was like, no, let them be whatever they want. Who gives a shit? If they're comfortable watching you, they're helping you succeed. What about product placement instead of ads? That's pretty normal too. So product placements inside of media, where they do that kind of stuff. I know Amazon was trying to experiment with that with New World, which was wild. Where basically what they did was inside of New World, there was a building that had like a panel on it like this. And there's like a whole building, right? And then a streamer's walking by it. And the chat on Twitch could see an ad here for an in-game event. And the streamer in-game could not see it because they were injecting it into the broadcast instead of into the game. And I was like, wow, that's freaking wild. Like that was like the craziest shit I'd ever seen. And there was a video. We actually watched the video of it together. It was quite cool. It's pretty cool tech. It was really cool tech. And I was like, yeah, it's like witchcraft, right? But the way that they did this is in-game, they actually had a texture on that wall that was able to be identified by AI to inject it into the broadcast. And it was kind of wiggling. Like we just kind of shift and move around a little bit as the person moved a little bit irregularly because it was trying to redetect where the thing was. And it was kind of cool. Oh, did you get the thing for it? Oh yeah, here's the video. Hell yeah, this is awesome, actually. I think it's like a little Black Mirror, right? It's a little bit Black Mirror for this. But if you look on that wall there, see that return to like that right there? That's the ad. So if we wait for this, he'll turn around in a second. It's like got Twitter's dog shit video quality as usual. He's going to come back and we'll look at it here. There, that's the ad. So that's not in game. That's actually only in the broadcast. And as he moves around, you see it kind of like vibrates oddly. It's like shifting a little bit. That's it redetecting. Isn't that wild? So he can't see this in game, but on stream you can see it. Yeah, it's 100% sorcery. So I know that Amazon, because Amazon made New World and Amazon owns Twitch. So they were trying to find ways to do ad integration in like new and strange ways. And that's some crazy way to do that. How does that work? So the texture in game is detected by something in the broadcast, and then it injects the ad in real time into the broadcast. As a dev, this is despicable. I disagree. I think that it's weird for the streamer more than anything else. I don't think it's despicable. I think for the streamer, it's weird because normally you would pay the streamer for a sponsorship. And in this way, you are monetizing that streamer's reach without paying the streamer. That's the problem that I have with it, right? You're monetizing the streamer's reach without paying the streamer for a sponsorship like you normally would. That's why I don't like it. But just injecting ads that the normal, like that a player can't see, but a viewership on Twitch would be able to see, that's kind of interesting technology, right? It can be used for really neat games, but ads. I think the other one was, this kind of feels negative in the way that we saw, what was it? Was it Burger King? $5 Twitch ad. Yeah, so Burger King did a stunt campaign a while back that pissed off every streamer, dude. And basically what they were doing was they would show up in a chat and they would do a TTS donation for $5 to advertise Burger King. And they were like, I'm Burger King, and like, here's $5. Let me play an ad on your stream. And I was like, oh, you piece of shit. Everybody was pissed about it because like you have to enter a relationship with that streamer and you have to pay them like sponsorship money to do that. And they were just doing it for $5. And like people got pissed, dude. So this had the same kind of vibe with that, which is like you're monetizing, you're basically using that streamer's reach without compensating them for the reach is the problem. VK got slapped for that. People hated it, man. They were so mad. They were so angry. Yeah. Very interesting shit. Like the tech is cool, but like the use of it is kind of gross. Yeah, $5 is nothing compared to how much a streamer would make from a brand deal. Bingo. And like not only that, I heavily curate what we're going to be using as a sponsor on stream. We turn down like 99.5% of all sponsors. I'm very, very selective about that. All the time, I'm super selective about this because I don't want to misuse your trust is what it comes down to. I don't want to advertise something to you that is dangerous or useless or shitty or a scam. So like I'm really, really selective about that shit. Like I even like stuff like energy drinks or any of that shit, man. Rode, I'm actually not sponsored by them. I just use their armatures all the time because they're really good. And I think this is an important and empowering thing for any streamer out there. You don't need a sponsor to be a real streamer. A lot of people when they first started, myself included, thought like, oh man, I need to get a sponsor because like that'll make me a real boy, right? And no, it doesn't work that way. The sponsor wants your audience. You're just a reason. You're just a way to get it. That's it. They don't care about you. They don't care about your culture. They don't care about your stream's culture 99% of the time. They care about the eyes that watch you and getting access to those eyes. That's it. And you need to be the person that filters shitty sponsors away from your audience. You need to protect your viewers from that behavior. And if you sell out and do it just for money, people know, and that's a shit thing to do. Because the way that I look at it is this. You guys support me heavily financially, just even by being here, the ad revenue, the subs, the bits, all that kind of stuff, the ferret rescue through the ad revenue, all of that stuff, right? If I break that trust, if I break that promise to you so I can make a quick buck from a sponsor, not only am I going to make less money overall over time, but the viewership of the entire stream goes down and everything gets harder. Why would you do that? That's like, not only is it shitty for your audience, but it's like the worst possible business strategy. Your viewers are your best sponsor. Don't screw that up. How about a $100 million sponsor deal? I mean, to be honest with you, does that exist? Number one, nobody has that kind of money for sponsorships, generally. Like, there's not enough money for that kind of stuff. In fact, at the top end, mini streamers, I would bet even ones like Caseoh are running into a trouble where they probably can't find sponsors. They can pay for the amount of access they would get through a stream, right? It's just too many. Number two, if you were to engage in that, you're probably selling your soul. Like, straight up. You are likely selling your soul at that point. You are owned by someone, whatever it's going to be, for that kind of money. And I don't think that's ever going to be worth it. I've seen that happen in the past. Look at Blizzard, right? Blizzard has never had its soul back. It's been owned by company after company after company over and over and over again, and it's always at the beck and call of the companies that own them. Like, that sucks, dude. I don't ever want to be in that kind of a situation. Why would I sign a contract selling myself out like that? Imagine losing the creative freedom to just sit down and have a conversation with you guys. I would hate that. I'd hate every damn second of that. That would kill all of this for me.
Good Sunday. I need an emergency pants. We need one immediately.